And we're back for another episode of Frieren Beyond Journey's End, episode 3 with Spirit Magic Helmet.
Yes, good morning to everybody. It's nice to hear from you.
Shout out to those few that are watching us in the daytime. You are special. Don't change. That was not meant to be condescending.
And for those who stay in for breakfast, we're having waffles.
Really, a Shrek reference?
Why not? I like a good Shrek. I like a good Shreky Decky. You know what I mean?
No. I'm probably one of the few that don't really have many fond memories of Shrek.
Why not?
I don't know. Really couldn't tell you. It's not like the movies are bad. I think I saw. I want to say I saw Shrek 1 for sure. I think I've seen Shrek 2 in pieces, but never watched it all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I guess I'll point out, we were just talking about this before. I didn't realize how many freaking Shrek movies existed. I cannot believe they're still making movies with that man. Like, why?
Wasn't there just 3?
No, there's more. Like, hold on, let me just look this up for you. I couldn't believe how many Shrek movies there were.
There's 4.
No, there's more than that.
And there's a 5th one on the way, according to Wikipedia.
I'll look this up. How many Shrek movies are there?
And then there's a lot of other miscellaneous like spin-offs, like a Halloween special. Jesus Christ. I guess if you count Puss in Boots.
Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, Shrek the Halls. Don't know what that's about. Shrek Forever After, Shrekless, and then yeah, you said Shrek 5, which that is coming out next year.
It's the spin-offs. There's a 4D film, Shrek 4D. There's this Christmas special. There's a Halloween special. Then there's 2 Puss in Boots. And then there's a stage musical adaptation, Shrek on Ice. Oh my god.
Apparently, and I didn't know this, but apparently the Shrek series is based off of an actual like 1990s picture book called Shrek. So there's some history behind this particular character. Yeah, there's
unrelated to nothing. You know my Hero of the Kingdom series? The first video is up to 72 views now. And my video with the most likes is at 10. That's kind of cool.
I need to figure out what you're doing because I need to boost my view counts.
I don't know, man. I've only got 2 left that aren't live yet. The last one goes live on the 26th in 10 days, and I haven't started RFL's recording yet. I gotta get going.
This is unrelated.
Sorry to change the subject.
No, this is unrelated to anything. Apparently, I've been on YouTube for 15 years, as of today, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I've been making videos on YouTube since, at least I've had this channel since 2011. If I'm doing that math correctly. I think that's good math. Oh, it looks like the freaking Code Vein 2 showed up. That's gonna be funny when episode 6 shows up and that just stops right there for Resident Evil. That's gonna be fun. I say fun because that's gonna be a random. Well, the previous week's podcast went up. That's good.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk about something very near and dear and special to my heart. We are going to talk about the miracle of childbirth. And to kick us off with our special on the miracle of childbirth.
I'm definitely stopping that train right now. What the heck? No way. We just lost like 5 viewers if we had 5 viewers. Good Lord, man.
I'm just trying to I was trying to have a warm moment.
I don't think anybody, male or female, wants to hear about the miracles of childbirth.
From us, anyway.
Well, I wasn't even in that conversation. It was you specifically, and I was trying to be nice about
What
it.
if, what if I use my David Attenborough voice, and we talk about the beautiful miracle of childbirth together today?
No, actually, we're gonna talk about Frieren here because
As we move through the ferns of the jungle, we come across two young ones frolicking in the snow, and we're going to zoom in on them as they begin the miracle of childbirth. You can see the male fluffing up his chest as a mating dance of sorts for the female, who is giggling and saying, "Buy me dinner." I don't know why that was funny to me.
First thing, in the animal kingdom, no female animal tells the male to buy them dinner. It's like that right there is a step that is completely skipped. There is no courting, there is take, and especially in the Lion Kingdom. Like I mean,
but where David Attenborough is watching humans and treating them like they're a species.
Even in the human kingdom, there are certain people who it is polite to buy her dinner first. At the same time, it's like in some cases, some of those dudes are not in fact buying her dinner first. And I only laugh because like it's messed up, but it's just like it's just one of those situations of like, especially in Animal Kingdom, there's no way. Like if she says that, I think the male lion is like going to another female lion. She is then left flustered and hungry. But I guess with that, episode 3 of Frieren. This is an interesting episode. Another one I don't really have a lot to say, which is kind of good, so we don't have to be here for 2 hours. But with that being said, the first half of the episode is interesting. Basically follow Frieren and Fern as they're like going through a town and doing some shopping. And thanks to Fern, we found out that she's been traveling with Frieren for quite a while. She doesn't put like a number to how long she's been with her, but I'm guessing it's been more than a year. And I only say that because apparently at the end of this part, we find out that Frieren's been shopping for a gift for Fern for her, I think her 16th birthday, I think is what it is. And I also would like to point out, I was like wondering how long it was going to take, because I knew of a I guess the thing with like Frieren is like, I'm not sure how often this is going to happen because it's only happened once. Frieren kind of compares her body to Fern's body. I just found that funny that I guess it happened now, because I was like wondering when because I did hear that this does happen, and that Frieren's kind of like, they say that Frieren's jealous a little bit. I think I can say for certain, I think yeah, she is kind of jealous, or she's wondering what in the world Fern is eating, because like they're eating the same things, what she says, because like apparently Frieren isn't developing as fast as Fern is. I just found that funny. I was like, wow, they're like, Frieren is like 1,000 years old and she's having this kind of like dilemma in her mind. Meanwhile, Fern's taller than her by now. I did happen to take notice that Fern was definitely a little bit older in this episode when it started, so I thought that was interesting.
Frieren was older?
Fern.
Oh, Fern. She's 16 now.
No, before that came up though, it looked like she was older, and I didn't notice that when the episode started.
Yeah, because Frieren said you're taller than me.
Maybe she says that at the end of the episode. I think at the end of that part. I mean. Yeah. And I just like, before any of that was said, I think I think they did a good job visually indicating that definitely there was definitely some time had passed.
They did a good job beyond that. There was like a very show me, don't tell me in other ways too, like the way they didn't demonstrate how well Fern has gotten to know Frieren with like watching. She's like, oh, here she goes. She's doing this, and whenever, excuse me, whenever she looks like that, she's hiding something from me, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. Like there was that kind of comic element to it that was kind of funny too.
Yeah, I think like it's definitely showing that they've been together long enough now. I guess also
Yeah.
on that. Oh, sorry. Continue.
No, go ahead.
No, I just want to say on that note, we have a moment in which Frieren is also reminiscing. Well, not really, like, not at first. Like it's when Fern says something to her that, like when they were ordering dessert, and he's like, "You're gonna order this pudding," and then apparently that jogs a memory in Frieren's mind that Himmel said the exact same thing to her. But I guess what's also interesting about that memory is the fact that she says that she doesn't know anything about all these people that she's been traveling with all this time, and she wants to get to know them better. And it's funny that at the beginning of episode 1, it's clear that she didn't get to know them at all, or at least know them well enough. And I thought that was just kind of interesting, and I guess kind of cute and funny that this, like, she still has this issue with trying to get to know people, and then apparently Fern takes to heart that Frieren wants to get to know her, and goes out of her way to get her this this headdress for her that she likes, and I thought that was nice. But yeah, they do
like the hair clip. It's kind of like a hair clip, right? Yeah. Extremely ornate. I was waiting to find out that like she didn't like it, but she actually wears it. I was waiting to find out that she'd say thank you, but maybe pull it quietly, not wear it. Call me cynical. But she seemed to truly enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, she says I love it, and she puts it back. She puts it on because Frieren wasn't sure if she was gonna like it.
Yeah, I mean, I've said I love it to gifts, and then quietly put them somewhere where nobody would ever see them again. But yeah,
I don't think Fern's like that though. At least that's my headcanon for her. I don't think she's she does have her snarky moments, and I suspect we're gonna see a lot more of that. They're doing a good job at revealing Fern's personality quirks. This is like like at first she seems like I wouldn't say dull or boring, but it didn't seem like Fern had much personality, because she even has those not the dead eyes, but like the top of her eye is flat, so she's kind of giving off this like, are you serious look, kind of almost all the dang time, like she's kind of emotionless. But it's like that's not the case at all. Like she's very thoughtful and thought provoking.
she's definitely. I think Frieren is changing quite a bit as we go. To even have thought to buy someone a gift seems unlike her from the past, because you hear later in the episode when the guy is talking about how he was talking to Himmel, how they had like a good old chat about how heartless she is.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like a mistranslation. I feel like heartless is kind of harsh. The thing, and I guess based off what we've seen of Frieren, I guess you could say that she's heartless. I feel like though that heartlessness, like she's not really heartless. She's just kind of forgetful. If she only remember, I guess we can talk about that bit, because there's not really much to say other than the relationship between Frieren and Fern is shown in the front for us here, so that the next part makes a little bit more sense in terms of like their interactions with each other during this part, because like after they leave that town, and it's Fern's birthday and she gets a gift, they make it to another town, and Fern's like asking her like, so are we gonna find any magic here? And then Frieren says like, unfortunately not. And I thought that was interesting. I was like, what is she doing here then? Normally she's walking around looking for magic. We find out apparently back when she was with Himmel, they had sealed away a demon in a town, and apparently now was the time when this seal was gonna like be at its weakest. I did find it interesting that
They said it like she did it on purpose, but I got the vibe that like she just happened to be there at the right time. I think it was a happy coincidence that she was there when she got there. I don't think that she came back to take care of the demon.
I think you're wrong on that one. I think she was there on purpose because to me it seems kind of weird. At least with how she's been traveling, she purposely goes to places for a reason. She doesn't, at least so far, it doesn't sound like she would just randomly come up upon the place that she's sealed a demon. Like of all the times, like she just randomly hop upon the town that she sealed a demon in. I don't know. That doesn't seem like something coincidental. Like I don't know. It doesn't seem like something that would be a coincidence because she didn't come there looking for a spell. Like she even said that. Like she didn't come there looking for magic. That's just my take, though. I mean, I'd like to hear your reasoning for why she apparently was a coincidence, though.
I just thought that, like, she seemed neither surprised nor interested very much in what was going on. She just kind of went with the flow. It's like, oh yeah, they said you'd come here when like you were needed the most, and she's like, oh, you need me? Okay, let's do it. And she took it about the same amount of interest as she did with the woman that wanted the statue cleaned. And it just made me feel like, oh, like I think she's just kind of like fine with doing it, but didn't come here specifically to do it.
Part of me thinks I just thought about this too, about like I think why it was on purpose, because before they got there, Frieren had been training Fern the entire way to that place on defensive magic and telling her where she needs to like she needs to study up on that book and stuff like that. I don't know, a lot of it feels like she came there on purpose. Like why bother training Fern to use defensive magic the way that she's been training her, like telling her to, you know, instead of, you know, placing a shield in front of you in one spot, make bunches of shields around you to instantaneously block magic. A lot of that training seemed on purpose. It didn't seem like she was just training her that magic just to be training her that magic. And on top of that, not even just that, getting on her about not reading her theory book on magic, because later on, you know, when he's educating her on certain magic, and she educates her on the demon and the fact that he made a magic attack that's really strong that she wasn't able to deal with back then, only for, you know, the reveal to be that she sealed the demon away, and then she took the information that Zolstruck was way more powerful than it should have been, and it took, you know, human mages 80 years, but they actually managed to learn about it, and then it just turned it into common ordinary magic. And then to me, it's like there's a lot of things she was doing on purpose that to me it seemed like, I think she knew she was coming to this place. Like I feel like because she even says too, even Frieren, I think even Frieren asked her, what are we doing here, why bother, you know, why not, like Fern didn't seem really interested either in what Frieren was doing here. And on top of that, even Frieren says that she's going to places that she went to with her group to make sure that, you know, to make sure that their presence isn't forgotten the best way she could. She even brings that up, that the coming here was a part of that task of, you know, defeating the Demon King makes it so that, you know, people won't forget about what they done for them in the past. Not Demon King, but the demon that was here. Like I got the suspicion that she's going to places that they used to go to I guess take care of unfinished business. At least that's what I got from it.
Right. I think either view is like a valid one. It just seemed like, I don't know. It's hard to tell 100% too, because like she's so incredibly chill about the whole thing, even with the demons in front of her. So it's like it was never. Yeah, it was like never a big deal to her anyway. So it's hard to tell because of that, her lack of like emotional concern about what's happening anyway. She's like, I don't want to hijack the conversation at all, but like the amount of chill that like the demon and her brought to that battle was like borderline comical.
I mean, I don't know if her being, I don't know. I've always taken like a lack of emotion, not meaning that they're being chill about anything, more like that this is how they are in general. And I guess a part of it, if I already use her lack of emotion as her being chill, I said, well, at this point, she says it's been 80 years since the last time she even dealt with him. Yeah, I would think she'd be chill because at this point she already would have went and helped defeat the Demon King, so she wouldn't be at the same level she would have been at during the time when she had first fought him and was unable to deal with his Zolstruck attack. So 80 years to me is like, okay. And he even asked me when he gets out how many years it has been. Though I will say that was probably more comical to me because like he gets unsealed, sees that Frieren's in front of him, and instead of attacking her immediately, he's like, how long has it been? Like what? Like so a part of me is like wondering, I wonder why she sealed him away and him away in the first. I mean, I know he says
she tells him straight out because they couldn't kill him when they first met him.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It still seems kind of weird. You know, I guess maybe what I find more weird about the sealing is the fact that the sealing had a time limit. So, like, I guess that's what I find more interesting out of the entire situation. Like, it seems like the sealing had a time limit. And apparently,
no magic that they see is particularly perfect. Like none of the magic they have seems to be particularly perfect. Like, I think that's just another sign of that. Maybe. Do you know what I mean?
I guess, but at the same time, there's no way Frieren could have guaranteed that she would have been alive, even with the 1,000 years she already accumulated. There's always a chance she could have gotten killed by something. The fact that like she sealed it away to deal with it later, I don't know. It just like I guess it kind of adds to the whole her being chill about everything thing more than anything. But I don't know. Maybe she knew she wasn't gonna be dead. You know, there's a little possibility she knew that she was going to be around to deal with him later. Because even Himmel tells the guy is like she will come back around when the time is right, and that he believed that it that to be true. And funnily enough, he was right. Whether it was coincidence or not, I don't believe it is. But I guess another thing too. I guess speaking of Himmel, because we've at least I've been talking about Himmel a lot these last 3 episodes because he seems to keep coming up. This episode kind of also cements. We were talking about relationships before. Like this episode for me, more than anything, really does solidify the trust that Himmel and Frieren had in each other. And, I guess it's one of those things where I did not see any of that when we saw them in episode 1. He seemed to be more jokester than anything else, even though he was the hero of the group. But it is like I didn't take him all that seriously. But like,
yeah, he apparently inspired a lot of people, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like
because all 4 of them traveled everywhere, but he's the only one getting statues and stuff.
I mean, he's the one done most of the saving. I don't know what the dwarf dude did, and the priest was a priest, so he did a lot of healing and protection spells.
Yeah, but we haven't seen. I mean, she went there, and the guy was like, "Hey, I think I remember you." You want to come see his statue that we put fresh fruit on every day, which clearly means that we visit it often. Like, if you're leaving an apple on there, like, an apple's going to start showing its age after, like, 2 or 3 days if an animal doesn't come and take it.
I mean, I guess Himmel did a lot of the saving, but I don't think that meant that, like, because even the fact they even remembered her, even if it was a slight, like, hey, wait a minute, I think I recognize you. I think that means Frieren made an impact. I mean, even if it was a small impact, like it was like the little boy, for instance, like the little boy only really remembered her because he flipped her skirt up. Though I will say with that whole her being kind of chill about everything, that she didn't freak out about that. Granted, she was also wearing tights, so I guess that was one of the things that she didn't have nothing to worry about. But it was just really interesting how like she says something that makes it seem like she's upset by it, but her physical emotional state doesn't change at all. So but yeah, I mean, yeah, Himmel did a lot in these 30 episodes. We found out that Himmel did a lot of inspiring. It was kind of weird, well, not weird, but just amazing, considering that like my initial impression of Himmel wasn't good. I initially thought he was a jokester. I was like, what could he have done? And, like, to me, I took that Frieren did most of the damage or did most of the fighting, but apparently that was not the case. Uh, he was stronger than he looked. Yeah, like he did definitely do. I guess we're going to see a lot more of that because it seems like she's going around to places that she went with that group. I guess another thing too. I guess speaking of that whole like, I guess like not having much of an impression on Frieren, I might want to take some of that back because it seems like Frieren has an impeccable memory of certain things that happened when she was with them. Almost to the point where I would almost argue that Frieren might think that maybe she didn't really care about them. I think in reality she cares a lot more about them than she thinks she does, because there are some memories that I would think that wouldn't make an impression on you if you didn't care about any of them. And I want to bring to attention like the statue making, when Himmel spent all that time getting his statue made and Frieren calls it dull. Like that is like, to me, her remembering that means a lot more than she thinks it does. Because I would brush that off, because I wouldn't bother. I was like, it's a dumb moment in time with him. I wouldn't bother. But she brings it up and then goes out of the way. As
it's kind of like, I think she's kind of learning that she has emotions. Like one of the biggest changes, I don't know if you noticed this or not, in Frieren, like there's a profound change in this episode from the other ones, and it could be very easy to miss it, but you may not have noticed, but did you pick up on the fact that Frieren patted her head twice in this episode?
I only saw one time she patted her head. Well, I saw Frieren pat Fern's head once. I do not remember the other time that you're mentioning.
It was one time was in the beginning of that episode at 10:07, and in that one it's slightly ambiguous, like and it might have been intentionally so. It looks like she either, when she puts her hand up to show, oh, you're taller than me now, she could have been touching her head and she could not have been. And I made a note that like she either patted her on her head or she almost touched her head, or maybe she wanted to touch her head but she didn't quite do it. But at 22:25 she absolutely pats Fern on the head, and I think that's relevant because remember it was almost a joke from the first episode where she was like, my head's not for patting.
No, I remember that. I only really, that's the reason why I may know of when I saw it happen at the end of the episode. I definitely did not remember seeing it, but I think I do remember her comparing her height.
You don't remember her saying my head is not for padding?
No, I remember that.
Okay.
The heck? Did I just lose internet?
Not if you're talking to me, you didn't.
The sarcasm, I just, ow.
I'm not being sarcastic, I'm just reminding you that if I can hear you, you didn't lose internet.
Something happened. Maybe I imagine it, or maybe it was something that's always happened on my computer. I'm just not noticing it. But I'll continue.
No, it's significant because it shows that, well, I mean, the small thing it shows is that her attitude about her head being, whether or not her head is for padding, whether or not heads are for padding is at least changed a little bit, but also that she wanted to touch another human being. You know what I mean? Like she wanted to affectionately touch somebody. And they hint it with that, but they also hint the character change because the whole conversation about her in this episode is people saying that she's really cold, and she goes as far as to say sorry about that. Did you notice that? Like when they're narrating what happened, like they're like, "Oh yeah, she's very cold." The her voice kicks in at one point while they're doing that story, which she's not in, by the way, and she's like, "Yeah, sorry about that."
Well, I did hear her say sorry about that, but I guess I didn't really register that much. I think a part of me thought maybe she was being just trying to be nice.
Yeah, but it's also like you wouldn't apologize for something like that unless you felt that like it's not something you should have done. You know what I mean? And now she's looking back and she's not defending herself and saying, there's nothing wrong with what I did. She's saying, "Oh yeah, sorry about that," you know? Like, which emphasizes that she's different now than she was then, you know?
No, I agree with that. I guess this was something I was thinking about. I did hear her say, "I'm sorry about that," but I think a part of me didn't register that as like, that's not something she needed to do. Wait, I guess with things with her changing, I've been bringing up, there's been a lot of moments that we see Frieren's face and nothing really changing, but there are various moments in this episode that I remember we see her smiling, and it's like it's very slight, but she never did that before. In fact, whenever like she got complimented, even back when Himmel complimented her on her magic, we see that Frieren still kept the same face, um, and just kept doing more and more magic, almost as if like, this is what I do now, versus like doing it because she got a compliment that her magic was pretty. So yeah, I guess like I will have to say like she's been slowly changing, and maybe and a part is like maybe she had changed more than she initially thought she had did, because like because we could probably also make the argument that her crying in the first episode was probably not like her, considering that like based off the way we've seen her interact with her teammates prior to Himmel passing, it didn't seem like their presence really meant all that much to her. But when Himmel passes and when she lets that sink in, she realizes that she's upset that she won't be able to hang out with him anymore. And that causes her to go on this journey of like understanding humans more. So she's doing a lot of small little things, interestingly enough, that oh shoot, hit my mic. I do find interesting and intriguing. And it's cool that she's going on this journey along with Fern as well. And that she's teaching Fern more and more her magic. A part of me is thinking, man, it'd be really sad if Frieren ended up dying at some point. It seems like this is where they're leading towards. It's like Frieren will be the last one to pass of her group. For two reasons. One, because she's an elf, so they live longer. But two, something might happen that's out of her control, and to save Fern, she might sacrifice herself. There's nothing going on that's saying that that's what's going to happen, but I don't know. It's like there's a lot going on with her remembering things, and it's like she's definitely changing. It's not changing quick, but it's definitely happening. Again, the spectacle of the way magic is drawn in this world still fascinates me. And I guess
so.
I mean, it's not like it's bad or anything. It's just like I really do love the way magic looks. It's like I very rarely do I find the way magic looks to be something of note for myself to take in. But like I really like it here because it seems like it's more, when it's used in combat, it's more of like more of a direct, you need to see this move to appreciate it, versus like the flowers thing. Like magic just, for that, it just like poof and suddenly there's flowers. Or like the rust, poof, suddenly the rust is gone on statues. Like it seems like depending on what she's doing, the way the magic is shown changes along with it. And then on top of that, the whole, when she's using Zulk Star against the demon, and then the demon dies. As the demon is dying, you just hear him saying, "Frieren, that was my magic." A part of me wishes that she would have said, "Yeah, suck it."
Oh Jesus!
Like, I wish she would have said that, but I know she wouldn't. But it's just like, it would have been perfect. It's like the one magic she had trouble with is the one magic she somehow mastered and used it on him. And I also took note of the fact she used it as saying, okay, we know she has that magic spell now. So, like, now we're going to see her use it. I guess we're going to see her use it more. I guess another thing, too, now I'm thinking about it. Didn't that magic shot look like the magic shot that Fern was trying to master in episode 2 when she was trying to become a mage? Wait.
Yeah, I assumed that's what it was, especially when they showed that line of stones with holes in them at one point when they were going over like the study of it.
Yeah, that just occurred to me. So I'm guessing that means Fern has it too, which is interesting. I guess that also makes him. That's why it makes sense that I guess she needs to master that to become a mage, because all the human mages, got further in magic because they studied that attack. So also with the way the demon made it seem like he could make that move stronger. So I'm guessing we're going to see that move used in a lot more lethal way in the future. I'm guessing. I don't really know. He made it seem like the demon made it seem like I just gotta use more mana to make this more lethal. I'm like, oh, interesting. So this move can get stronger. That's gonna be interesting to see if it ever happens. But I also do love it how, like, she's like, Frieren tells Fern that protect me as I'm getting ready to do this, and then like Fern actually manages to protect herself and Frieren had to cost a lot of her mana, only for like the demon to look up and see that Fern's in the air and Frieren's in the air. He like, the elf can fly now. And I was like, I guess she mustn't have been able to do that before when they first met. Only for her to effortlessly cast the move and then shoot him, defeat him.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that was it was a definitely cool little moment there. But I guess it showed too, like, why she was telling Fern that she needs to read that history book. Because there's like I mean, she does say like magic is 50% theory just as much as it's practice. Which I guess that other thing too shows, like, I guess that's a weak point of Fern's. She rather do magic versus reading about it. Every time Fern was told to read, Fern would say, okay, I'll do it. And apparently she never did it. And even Frieren thought that, how about I just read this to you at bedtime? That was funny. I was like, geez, really? You're gonna read her magic theory so she falls asleep to it?
I'm guessing that's another show me don't tell me moment where like she was doing that for her when she was a child, and now she's grown up and she doesn't need it for her anymore, but Frieren is still trying to like kind of establish that she's not a child now. I mean, Fern is still trying to establish that she's not a child now and remind Frieren of that.
I don't know if that was saying that she did that to her when she was younger, but I guess you can make that argument that she was. I just took
It's very possible that when she was like 9 that Frieren sat next to her and read her way over her head. Crap.
Man, I can't argue that she wasn't. I just took her. I took her saying that as more of a threat to get Fern to read the magic theory. But I will say, like, what I took from that wasn't, it was more on the side of Fern. Used to what I took from all that, it was like Fern just does not like reading, or she finds reading about magic dull and she doesn't like doing it, because the way Frieren always kept on hammering that she needs to do it, almost seems like Frieren knows that she doesn't like reading, but keeps telling her to do so. Which, I mean, and also there's another show me don't tell me thing, because like we find out why Frieren's been hammering that into, because we find out during the fight with that guy that he's the reason why magic is where it's at right now. like him and that spell he had. So I thought that was a cool like history lesson that we got a chance to see. Which means I wonder like if it's, you know, if all it took was 80 years for that to progress. I wonder what else changed back when Frieren was adventuring and was new to everything. Because if magic advanced that far, there's no telling what else advanced. Um, yeah, the episode ends when you see Frieren do the head pat thing that she doesn't like, and then Fern's like wondering what's going on, and she says, "Oh, nothing." But I thought that was kind of a cute nod of her showing that she approves of her apprentice. It's funny how she didn't want this apprentice, and now she's like, now she's happy she's got Fern. But that was a cool like little thing too. I guess that's really all I gotta say. You got anything to add? Or more to add?
Yeah, give me a second to pull up my notes. I had some stuff.
I guess while you're doing that, I was like, I'm still enjoying the show. Really am enjoying it.
Yeah, me too. I felt sad that their means are so meager for like two extraordinarily powerful heroic wizards like them, that like Fern was watching her shopping and going like, I haven't seen a grain of sugar in like months. Which is also strange because their room seemed kind of nice. Like maybe I'm thinking in too modern of terms, but they each had their own bed and like a nice spacious room. So at the same time, I was like, really, this is like a problem for you guys? Like you have a nice room, you know? So like a little discordance there, I felt. I don't know how you felt about it, but like,
I thought it was weird. I thought like, but the way I took that as meaning is that maybe they don't maybe because Frieren's not taking on jobs. It's possible that Frieren's only getting money from doing good deeds every now and then. But it doesn't seem like Frieren's working. You know, it doesn't seem like she goes into a town and goes to the nearest like coffee shop and puts on a maid outfit.
Yeah, I know. Just like, can't you just like cast that flower spell, pick them and sell them or something? Like, why is money so hard for you to get?
I don't know. She doesn't seem like, I mean, again, it's like maybe she's not interested in working. She just wants to wander.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think that she's just like, if she wanted money, she could probably get it, but like, she's just has zero push. At 1432, when they were talking, I know we've gone back to this conversation quite a few times now, but when they were talking about how Frieren would return right before things got too serious, do you think that was like sort of a prophecy?
I didn't take that as a prophecy. Oh, and honestly, the only reason I'm not is because it doesn't seem like Himmel's the type to. Again, I will say this with a caveat or two. To me, he doesn't seem the type of guy that would prophesize. And then, two, I know he looks like an old sage now, so it's like that completely probably burns that bridge. But like, I don't know. It just didn't seem like, to me. It seemed like, because they bring up in the little boy who's now an old man brings up that Himmel seems to, I mean, this is proof that Himmel seems to have like a lot of trust in you specifically. And he even brings up that anytime Himmel's come down to him to visit to check on that demon, like every time he comes down there, he always seems to talk about Frieren nonstop. So I don't know, part of me thinks that it's just trust, that he trusts that Frieren will eventually show up. And it could be also taken that if he probably doesn't know when she'd show up. It's possible that maybe he didn't know she was just gonna walk right on in to thinking about the seal that she put down right before it broke, versus like maybe she would hear about the village going up in flames and then make a return. I don't know. It did seem to me that maybe he didn't know when she would return, but he had faith that she would. And that it wasn't more of a prophecy, it was more of a promise. So the old man seemed like he didn't. 100% believe until she showed up. But, yeah.
No, he said, I'm glad I did believe. I mean, he didn't 100% believe, but he was also sort of betting his life on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Just pointing that out. What?
No, nothing. I'm just letting you continue. Just like sweating my hands. Don't mind me.
This is just a small little detail at 1445, but I liked the Stonehenge style, like, arch is the wrong word because it's rectangular, but like that Stonehenge style, like, thing that they were walking through. I thought it was kind of funny that they had actual like census statistics where they're like 40% of adventurers and 70% of mages, instead of like half or and most of or something like that. They actually like, yeah, we crunched the numbers. I thought it was kind of funny.
I mean, on that statistic stuff, I mean, they do say that a lot of mages died during adventures. You know, is the part of the reason why Frieren did not want to take on an apprentice in the first place. But like that statistic, while funny, it being brought up, and that the curse number is like, I think that just proves why Frieren did not want to take on an apprentice mage. So while it was funny,
yeah,
I was like, oh, okay, so that makes more sense now why she.
Oh yeah, it does tie it in, doesn't it? Another little moment of character development that I thought was very subtle but important. Fern, in like the first episode where she meets her, is extremely like ambitious. Like, you're like, holy crap, kid, slow down. Like, you've learned as much in the last 4 years as most people do in 10. You've got to draw a line somewhere. And in this episode, like, there was I tried to catch the second time because I heard it, but I didn't write it down, but I missed it. But in the this time around, she's like, oh my god, do I have to like sit you down and read this to you? You know, there was like a totally different tone here. Like, she's not nearly as ambitious.
I mean, I brought that up I just think Fern herself just does not want to read about theory. I just took that as like it's a part of her. It's one of Fern's flaws that we don't really get a chance to see.
I know you said that. It just, for me, it like felt like she was like, maybe like Freren's chill was kind of like rubbing off on her.
I guess I never really thought about that. I just know Frieren got upset, and I thought that was funny, just the way. So, like,
yeah, like they're like, their personalities are kind of like moving towards each other a little bit. Like, Frieren is becoming more human and maybe a little bit more ambitious and focused, and Fern is becoming a little more chill, and it's probably both of their benefits at the end.
I never thought about it like that, but yeah, I just kind of just took it as a literal, like, man, Frieren just is upset. But yeah, I think that actually makes a lot of sense.
Oh, thank you. I try to make sense from time to time. As Hamlet says, when the wind blows north-northwest, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Would you just call my mother?
Oh my god.
Sorry.
No, it's a hand. Do you ever hear the line, there's a method to my madness?
I don't think I've heard it in the original context, but yeah, like I've heard there's a method to my madness.
There's a method to my madness came from Hamlet by Shakespeare. And he says there's a method to my madness, and then the lesser known second line is, when the wind blows north-northwest, I know a hawk from a handsaw. Which is like a poetic way of saying I know my ass from my elbow.
Listen to this theater kid. Sorry.
Hamlet is my favorite single written thing of all time. So I'm a big Hamlet fan. I'm not a theater kid, but I am a Hamlet fan. Give me just a sec. I Qual seemed to realize the time was passing. I know we talked about it was strange that there was a limit, and we talked about how he came out and he was like, "Whoa, dude, how long's it been?" Like he woke up drunk or something. like, he was like stoned and he was just coming out of it, and he's like, "Dude, how long was I out?" But at the same time, was he like living stone that was like sentient? Like, was he sitting there being like awake or cognizant of like his life, like all that time? It was sort of an interesting little like side effect moment.
Well, I think the wording was used that he was sealed. I don't I don't like I do know you're talking about that he was definitely a stone creature, whatever. He was a stone statue.
Yeah, sealed is you make a good point. Sealed was the word that we need to focus on there. But no, you just answered the question. Because that's exactly the word we need to be focusing on there, that he was sealed. So obviously he was he probably couldn't like see out of his eyes or anything, but he was in a something. Thank you. Again, I go back to what I said earlier about how chill the fight was. I love that they just sort of like chewed the fat. Like he was like, "Oh, yeah, dude, catch me up. Like, what's been going on in the last 80 years?" And they're like, "Well, for example, we figured out a counter to your spell, and we learned how to use it ourselves, and you're obsolete now." And then Qual was like, "Oh, interesting. You can fly. That's kind of cool. This will be fun." I think he even used the word "fun." It's just very, very chill like moment. At 1815, here's a little bit pickier of a thing. I might be overanalyzing this, and I'm sure you're going to say I am. But when Fern puts up the first defensive spell, after everything resolves, Qual is able to say like at least one or two sentences while the spell is still up, and that made me think that was sort of an amateur move of Fern's, that like she left the barrier up too long, because two things. One, Frieren told her like only use it the very instant before the attack, and which also implies that as soon as the attack's over, you'd let the spell go. And also that like when she does it the second time, Frieren says, "Do you remember what I taught you? Like only block the spaces that need to be blocked." And she's like, "Yes, I remember." And then she cast the spell in a different way the second time. So there was a sense there that Fern wasn't quite doing everything the way it should have been done yet.
Okay, so two things. Yes, you're analyzing it. Okay, sorry. I needed to say that. I wanted to say that. But
yeah,
as you're saying that, my brain. Well, let me retract my statement. As you were saying that and talking about it, I started thinking about it. I think maybe she was amateur, and I only say that because before even dealing with whoever this demon's name was, she was training Fern over and over again on that defensive spell. Like Fern was even complaining about how many times do I need to practice this particular spell. And this part of me distinctly, this is why I feel like this was all purposeful. Like Frieren didn't just stumble upon this village. Like she knew she was coming here. But she was training Fern on this spell and teaching her that this spell does get its weak points, and showed her that it does, because there's cracks in the defensive spell, and then teaching her that she needs to implement this spell immediately, as not immediately, but as soon as an attack happens and gets near her, she needs to block it immediately, almost like in a fist fight, you bring up your hand immediately as soon as the attack comes in. So yeah, I think it is, she is an amateur, because like up to this point Fern only practiced one spell, and that was the Zoltrox spell, at least for us. I'm assuming it's Zoltrox. But there was one move she had been training and learning, and Frieren helped her learn that move all the way back in episode 1 or 2, and she mastered it by that point. I think Fern, maybe one of the things that she is like gonna have to learn over time to get better at is defense. And so yeah, I would buy that. You know, if in fact she definitely did keep up that shield longer than she should have, that makes sense because I definitely did catch a moment where she was like, it was like right before Frieren launched an attack, or the one attack that she launched. Um, Fern was like down there exhausted on her knees, and I remember seeing, I was like, wait, when did she what? And I did catch that Frieren did tell her, "Do you remember what I taught you?" I didn't think much of it at the time, but now you say that, like that makes a lot more sense now. But again, that's an accumulation of everything up to that point, because she had been teaching Fern to use that spell for a long time, and Fern hasn't mastered it yet. I suspect that eventually we'll get to a point when she does master it and she's able to launch, you know, like launch that spell without much effort. Because she definitely does say that defensive magic does drain your mana really quickly, and that's the only way to combat it is to, you know, only use it when necessary.
Yeah.
So yeah, what you're saying is true. It was probably an amateur move because yeah, she is an amateur.
Yeah. It's just a little subtle. Like, we're still learning how this anime works and does storytelling, but it was just a little subtle thing where I was like, I think that's what they're trying to tell us right now.
Also, one little quick thing, because I know
Mhm.
to talk about this demon. I know you noticed small little details, and Spargy haven't brought this up yet. Did you catch on to the small little detail when when Frieren is talking with the demon and brings up the fact that, you know, time is like nothing to beings like us? Did that catch your ear? I was like, does that mean that that guy doesn't age as fast or doesn't age at all? She brings it up to him. Even I think it was after the 80 era mark or whatever like that. You know, or how long?
Well,
it's
elves are typically either immortal or they live for thousands of years. So if you live for like 100,000 years, like 80 years is still can easily be defined as not very long.
No, but I know I'm just trying to bring attention to the fact that like she brings it up towards the demon. Like she brings up the fact that he's also included in that whole time doesn't matter thing. She actually brings this up to the demon, like, and the demon doesn't fight back on it. He just kind of like lets her say it. I mean,
Mhm.
I just find it interesting that apparently, I'm guessing the demons are also immortal. I'm just asking, like, is that a normal thing? Do demons not also have like a, if they exist in any fantasy, do they normally not have a like an age thing?
Yeah, I've never heard a version of a demon that like died of old age. Like, I think demons automatically are immortal unless it's suggested otherwise.
Okay, that's all I was really trying to figure out, because I was like, that was a really weird thing to bring up to him. Like, I mean, if he is immortal, I was like, okay, that would, her saying that to him makes a lot of sense then. Okay. You can continue. I think I said enough.
I think that was the end of my notes. I'll check. I had one other thing uncensored, but I think it was just the name of the next episode. Oh, you already brought this up, but Frieren's pretty damn powerful if she can one shot a demon that killed off 70% of the other mages. I know they weren't prepared properly, but like still 70% of the mages, like there must have been moments where like that demon was fighting more than one mage and or a band of adventurers and stuff like that, and he defeated them all. So I thought that was impressive of Frieren, even though she had new tech that was specifically designed to counter what his major ability was.
Well, that's what I want to say. Frieren couldn't take him on 80 years ago. She only was able to take him on after she got stronger. That doesn't you know, negate her strength. It's just saying that like it took a while for her, and I'm guessing maybe it's not normal for mages to have that much time.
Yeah, even then she was able to seal him away when everybody else died. But then she came back like, I don't know. She came back and the dude just like was one shotted. She's like, hey, you know, hold my beer, Fern. And then she like went in there and took him out.
What's that guy say? Like, how casual she just casted Zoltrox.
Yeah, and that's the fact that the fight was so casual that I just said, hold my beer, and you didn't even laugh, because why would you laugh? Like, it's exactly how that, like, the tonality of that episode was.
I mean, she floated in the air.
She would totally say, hold my beer. And then, you know, Fern would be like, okay, Frieren.
Dang it.
Can I have a sip of it? No, you can't. We talked about this.
She'd probably still take a. I think Fern probably wouldn't have an alcohol tolerance. She strikes me as that kind of like character they'd not give alcohol tolerance to.
Fern.
Not
Do you ever
Fern,
watch Fern? Yeah, she'd go straight under the table. Do you ever watch Lord of the Rings?
I don't know how many times I have to say this. No.
Oh, well, there's a funny scene there where an elf and a dwarf have a drinking contest.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you say that because in this episode, the dwarven dude comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Now Frieren, I could definitely see that. No, I don't think she had. I don't think she can get drunk. I think the closest she probably get drunk is she'd start acting normal, and that's it. Like I don't think Frieren can get drunk. I'm not gonna die on that hill, but this is my thought process on it. It's like Frieren doesn't strike me as the person that gets drunk.
Here you go. Here's the clip. It's a minute 22.
No pauses, no spills, no regurgitation. So it's a drinking. Last one standing wins.
Man, that's a lot of actors. What is that? Never. Oh.
Oh, yes, that dwarves that go swimming with little hairy women.
Ew, hairy woman.
Oh.
To each their own.
I feel something. A slight tingle in my fingers. I think it's affecting me. It can't hold his liquor.
Yeah, I expected that.
Game over.
And that's exactly how I expect Frieren to be when she's in the drinking game. But I guess with that, we're gonna end this podcast here. We'll come back next week as we always do, or watch next episode. But you're gonna get the I don't know like dwarven dude's name. I guess I'll find out. No, Eisen. Eisen is his name. Eisen and whoever that other kid that's with him in that thumbnail is. We'll see what's going on there. So we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your week, and I guess we'll see you, Jock, Thursday for the continuation of Metroid. Good night, everybody.